Hey, what's going on everybody? TJ here, and today's summary is going to be done outside because it is absolutely beautiful and it has been raining for the past 4 days, and I wanted to come out and enjoy this nice blue sky. So last time in our last video I told you that we would be going over the third part of Mentored by a Millionaire by Stephen K. Scott. And we were going to discuss what our personalities are. So here's a really cool exercise that comes with this course for us to figure out what exactly our personality strengths and weaknesses are. So I'm about to flash onto the screen a chart, and on it is going to be L, O, G, and B across the top, right? And here, I'll put the screenshot up right now. And as you can see, there are 10 rows and a bunch of different words on each of these lines. So what you're going to do is read these words on each line and put either a 1, a 2, a 3, or a 4 on these lines next to the words. You can't have more than one 4, you can't have more than one 3, you can't have more than one 2, blah, blah, blah. So, like, if you resonate most with the first one, then you put a 4. And then your second most like you put the 3. Your third most like you put a 2, and the one that's least most like you put a 1. Now this doesn't mean that it's not you at all, it's just you resonate more with the other ones a bit better than that last one, right? So go ahead, pause this video, and add all of your numbers, and when you're all done, you can continue this video. Alright, so don't continue this video if you haven't done this yet. Make sure that you pause this video and write it down in a notebook or whatever, on any sort of piece of paper or on your computer or whatever you want to do. Just do this before you continue the video, because if you don't, the rest of the video isn't going to make sense to you and it's going to make you biased towards your personality. So press pause now and fill out all of your numbers. Alright, awesome. So now you should have 1, 2, 3, or 4 just one time on each of those 10 lines under L, O, G, and B. Okay, so now what you got to do is add up all of those numbers under each of the letters, right? So add up all your L's, add up all your O's, add up all your G's, and add up all your B's. All right, take a minute to pause this video and do that. All right, cool. Now add up all those 4 numbers at the bottom, and it should equal up to 100. This is just to double check your math. If it doesn't equal up to 100, recount and figure out where you may have messed up, but make sure that it equals 100. Alright, and for this next part, we're going to explain exactly what these numbers mean. So, whatever column has the highest number, that is your dominant personality trait. Alright, so put a circle around that letter, whatever one that is for you. The column with the second highest number is your secondary personality trait. Alright, so put a square around that letter so that you can remember. All of these traits are awesome traits to have. This is just to see what your strengths and what your weaknesses are so that you can optimize on them. Alright, so now we're going to explain what these all mean. So the L column is for lion, right? And by the way, I'm going to go through this really fast so that we can keep this video as short and sweet as possible, straightforward and to the point, right? So L is lion. These people are leaders, they're bosses. I'm going to be looking at my notes for this. They are very decisive. They're observers, right? They don't really watch or listen, they observe, okay? They're observing how people are doing things. They love solving problems, they love new opportunities, they have a very low threshold for boredom, right? They have to keep active, they have to keep on doing new things, can't sit still for too long. They're very confident, and something negative is that their dominating traits can actually cause problems if they're not toned down a little bit, right? They can be a little too dominating. Most entrepreneurs are lions, or have a lot of lion in them. If not, then that's still okay. The natural strengths are they're very goal-oriented, they're very decisive, achievement-driven, they take charge. They're very persistent, they can be competitive, they enjoy challenge, they enjoy variety, they enjoy change. They're very results-driven, they're very independent, they take lots of risks, they're self-starters, they're very good at self-motivating themselves, and they're very efficient at accomplishing things very quickly. Right? They can do a lot of different tasks in a short period of time. Weaknesses for lions. They can be very impatient. They're very blunt. They are poor listeners. They can be very impulsive. They're very demanding. They fear inactivity and boredom. They need to have something going on. They got to be active doing something. And they can be insensitive to others while completing projects. They can even like run over other people who are going a little slower to take action or to speak. That can be a major weakness of the lion. All right, next is O, which is for otters, right? Otters are they're very great motivators. They love to talk. They're great networkers. They know a lot of people, and they know a lot of people who know a lot of people. These people are the life of the party. They have a strong desire to be liked. They're very fun and loving, and they love to be the center of attention. They can be a little bit flashy. They're motivated by approval, and they like to be popular. Natural strengths of the otter is they're very enthusiastic, they're very optimistic, they're very personal, they're good communicators, they're awesome motivators, they are very outgoing, and they're very fun and loving. Natural weaknesses of the otter, they can be a little unrealistic in their optimism, right? They can be a little too optimistic and make things unrealistic. They listen to their feelings over their logic, which I feel can either be a strength or a weakness depending on the situation. They're not very detail oriented, but they're very visionary. So if you have a project and you need somebody to be very detail oriented, do not use an otter. Use an otter to be like the host of a party, or like to like motivate people, get people hyped, get people going. They're very impulsive and they hate routine. They can't do routines. They like variety and like to have things like all over the place a little bit. You know, they just can't do the same thing over and over and over. They're very naturally disorganized. Okay, and that is your otter. Next is the G. This personality trait is the golden retriever. These people are very loyal, they're wonderful listeners, they're encouragers, they're very warm and compassionate, they're motivated by desire for good relationships, they're good two-way communicators, they're good at listening and talking. Their natural strengths are that they're patient, they're easygoing, they're empathetic, they choose people over projects, right? They can be very empathetic for people, which is awesome. I told you that was a weakness for lions. So a lion with someone who's got that personality trait of the golden retriever, that's an awesome combination to have. They're team players. They're very stable. They're very sensitive to the feelings of others. They're very dependable. They're very supportive, and they're very agreeable. Natural weaknesses is they can be very indecisive. They want to make you happy, so they want to know what you want. They want to keep the peace, so they'll avoid confrontation. They fear change. They can hold a grudge instead of confronting an issue. They can hold a grudge on people. They ignore the needs of themselves over the needs of others, and they can be overly tolerant. So a parent that has a golden retriever personality can be a little overly tolerant to their children and allow them to get away with more than they really should be, because they're afraid of that confrontation. But golden retriever is still an awesome trait to have. They need security, they need time to change, and they hate to be rushed. And that is your golden retriever personality type. All right, and the last one is B, which is beavers, okay? These people are perfectionistic. A lot of beavers become accountants, attorneys, engineers, architects, or mathematicians because they have a strong need to do things right and by the book, right? They're awesome at following instructions, right? You give them an instruction booklet, they're gonna get right through it, and they're gonna know what to do before they even start. They're motivated by a desire to be right. They need security, they need gradual change, and they like low risk. Beavers are people who end up becoming like auditors, or can be your chief financial organizers, right? That's what the beaver personality type is really good at. Your CFOs. Natural strengths is that they're very accurate, they're analytical, they're detail oriented, they're very orderly, they're methodical, and they have very high standards for what they're doing. Natural weaknesses are that they are too hard on themselves and others, they're perfectionistic, they're overly cautious, they're slow decision makers, they're bad with deadlines, they're too picky, and they can be very slow paced. All right, and those are your 4 personality types. So if you're curious, I ended up getting 31, 29, 18, and 22. So my dominant trait is lion, and my secondary trait is otter, right? My girlfriend Tori, she also got Lion and Otter, but she has a lot of Golden Retriever traits as well, which is awesome because it really helps balance me out, and I love that. So everybody's gonna have traits from all of them. It's a matter of what your strengths are and what your weaknesses are. So I'm curious to know what yours are, so let me know in a comment below what your score was and what your personal dominant and your personal secondary traits are. I'd love to find out. If you like this video, make sure that you give it a like. And on our next video, we're going to learn how to play to our strengths, how to strengthen our weaknesses, how to partner with people who are good with your weaknesses, and how to find mentors for your weaknesses. So if you're interested to know that, and also a personal strength audit to optimize all of your strengths, make sure you subscribe, keep an eye out for that next video, and always remember, the world is all yours.